What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. So I have a story to share with you guys about my Polaris Sportsman 500 that I purchased 3 weeks ago, going on a month of ownership. And mind you, I've been very, very busy at the house, getting the house in shape, getting the house ready for the upcoming season. There's just so much content, guys, to come, right? That's like brewing, and the four wheeler is going to be a part of it. So since getting it, I've had it out once, literally for 10, 20 minutes in front of the house on the beach. Gave my kids just a quick little ride up and down the beach, and that was it. And I parked it. Now, last night, Saturday, today is Sunday. Last night, my oldest daughter goes, "Hey, Dad, can we take the four wheeler out?" And it's, when I say last night, it was starting to get dark, like around 7 o'clock or so. I said, "Not a problem. Let's go." And like I said, the only thing that I've done to the four wheeler is I reassessed and assessed some of the items that were noted by the previous owner. Ordered some parts, replaced some parts. Like I said, those videos are to come. But I haven't really did a good shakedown test, as far as getting under the four wheeler, checking out the systems, stuff like that. Just fluids. So here's the deal. We take it out. We're about 2 miles away from the property. Essentially, we're just, cruising down the coastline of Lake Huron, checking out the cottages, going 15, 20 miles an hour at the most, which kind of saved my butt a little bit from doing more damage to the four-wheeler. A few little ruts, a few little tiny creeks, some ditches, nothing crazy, nothing that this four-wheeler hasn't seen before or would hurt this four-wheeler. So we're driving and I'm slowing down. I'm just kind of looking around, the water, sunset, and all this stuff. And then I notice resistance, like, the handlebars kick. And I kind of look over and I see the right front tire is tucked in, right? And it's rubbing on the inner wheel well or the fender of this four wheeler. And I'm like, that's weird. So I stop, I get off, my daughter gets off, four wheeler is still running, right? So I'm like looking at it and I see the tire. The caster obviously is like all the way in and the camber is out. I'm like, that's weird. At first I thought it was a flat tire. Like I thought maybe like the lug nuts came loose or something like that. But that wasn't the case. So I look under the four wheeler and I see the A arm or the control arm, lower control arm, just laying there in the sand. Listen, control arm disconnected from the ball joint or from the whole knuckle, okay, from the whole suspension, just laying there. I look over to the front left or the driver's side front tire and control arm, on over the ball joint. The nut is there. The cutter pin is there. Everything is good. So I know that the owner told me that he did replace the front axles, and I have this feeling that he forgot to put the nut and the cutter pin um, onto the right side of this control arm assembly. I swear to God, because like I said, I've had it out one time, just did a couple of little circles, and then and then this was my second time. So what do I do, right? Option A is to be Mike and to be stubborn and to somehow make this work and get it home, limp it home. Option B, which would have been the smart way of handling business, is to either A, just call my neighbor. He has a John Deere tractor, like a big one, and say, "Hey, just come down, pick up the front end of this four-wheeler and drag my ass home." So, of course, I chose option one, which is being stubborn and trying to somehow get this thing home. Well, I didn't have any tools. I don't have a jack. I don't have literally jack shit with me. I look around next to one of the properties. There is a pretty big log, long and skinny, but good sized diameter, pretty heavy sucker. So I plop that in line with the tires, right? Essentially chucking the front tires. I look around again and I see this big branch that's like right by the water. I grab that sucker. Now I have a lever essentially. So I'm on soft surface, right? The control arm is laying, right? Everything is just kind of apart, and I'm trying to get enough leverage so I can lift up or unload the suspension enough to kick the tire back inward and center, and to in hopes of getting the ball joint through the A-arm, the control arm. I fought with it for probably 20, 30 minutes. You know, my daughter doesn't weigh as much as I do, right? And of course, I was just using my right arm essentially on the lever, on that big branch, and trying to grab the four-wheeler tire, and that's tough. But I finally got it. I got it to pop through the control arm, and I'm like, the only option I have, since I don't have a nut, is to steal the cutter pin from the left side and then just essentially just pray and have the fingers crossed that the cutter pin will, in the compression, right, of the four-wheeler and the weight, will keep this A-arm from coming out again. And I guarantee you guys that just the weight of the suspension is what kept that A-arm from popping off. I guarantee you 100%. I don't think the nut was ever there, like I said, or the cutter pin. If the cutter pin was there, that's what it's there for, is to keep the nut, even if the nut backs off, doesn't back off all the way through, essentially, and thread itself off, right? It's a safety feature. So as we were going through these ditches, that ball joint disconnected from the control arm. Anyway, I get it, and we take off. We go like super slow, like 2-3 miles an hour. And remember, we have to go through all these little creeks, all these little ditches and stuff like that. And I'm just trying to take the slow way out, and I hear a snap. And I'm like, man, I swear, I look over to the tire, or to the right tire, everything's still there. So we make it home. I park it, and take a flashlight. So being that the control arm was still floating and angle was essentially way off when it comes to the axle. The right axle ended up snapping right at the U-joints. It just snapped right off. So now I have to order, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to order 2 ball joints. I'm going to order a right axle. I'm going to start with that, with the right axle, and get that replaced. Obviously, a ball joint comes with new nut, cutter pin, and all that stuff. So I have to put a safety or a cutter pin back into the left control arm assembly. I'll make sure all that stuff is nice and tight. And then I have to work on the right. So now I have quite a bit of work, because I have to remove the tire, remove the front hubcap, get the axle off, remove all the bearings. There's this electromagnet for the four-wheel drive system. All this stuff has to come apart, but that's good, because that's going to be my start of going through this four-wheeler to make sure it's reliable, not just taking a chance on it. But this is my first time, guys, where literally, like, somebody worked, the old owner worked on it, and he forgot to freaking put a nut onto the ball joint, and the control arm just fell right off. The moral of the story is this: go through the machine before you use it. I should have known better. I was just very tired and also excited to use it. My daughter wanted to go on it as well, so that kind of pushed the right buttons, I'll say. And then, of course, it's not that easy to see, because this four-wheeler does have guards, these plastic shrouds essentially, over the control arms, front and rear. And they cover, like, unless you're looking at it, you're not going to see any, obvious, nut or whatever other hardware missing. So yeah, definitely going to start with a axle, some ball joints, some nuts, some cutter pins. I also have to replace a carburetor. There's like a bunch of stuff, and even though this machine runs well, but it does need some love. So I'll keep you guys posted for his breakdown, and of course, like I said, actual repair videos to follow. Talk to you guys later.